Hmm. Tuesday. But it's an 063 Tactical Tuesday. Just want to go ahead and say welcome in to anyone that is coming into the live. My name is Lazarus Zander, and this is 063 Tactical Tuesday Live. Here we go. What's going on, gang? How y'all doing this week, man? Whew. It has been a very, very, very pleasant day. Very beautiful week. And it is 063 Tactical Tuesday once again. So anyone coming in, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. We're gonna go ahead and get started on the synopsis of what we got going on here today. So 063 Tactical Tuesday is just kind of a live that we go a little bit more in depth in some of today's topics. We talk about some tactical things, the 2A realm. And then typically we have a random topic that we may discuss on a more personal note pertaining to Lazarus Zander more personally, and just what we kind of do here at 063 Tactical, what we actively are working on, and what we are sourcing going towards obtaining in the future. So just want to say thank you to anyone that is tuning in, giving some feedback, showing that love, giving that great energy to the channel, to Lazarus Zander, to 063 Tactical, because we always want to give that back, and we appreciate you. And mashallah. Speaking of religion, anyway, I just kind of throw it out there. I just got done with prayer myself. So definitely feeling very good about this live, and just wanted to say to anyone that is watching, alhamdulillah, truly, and bless you and yours. When it comes to prayer, take your time to have that relationship with your God, your believer, your spiritual leader, however you want to develop, whatever person you want to develop into, be. No judgment here, however you want to go about it. Just make sure you do take that time to practice that relationship, because it is important. If you claim that is an important part of your life, then you have to practice that, as such as anything that you do in life, because practice genuinely does. It helps out in the long haul. So just going to kind of switch over topics here. Once again, this is 063 Tactical Tuesday live. And we're going to go ahead and hop into this first topic today, which is very interesting, because you have a lot of debate, I believe, truly on a lot of sides of the of food. So we're going to go into food, of course. You have a lot of debates on either side when it comes to diet. What's the best diet? What you should be doing to get this body, or that body. What helps you live, longevity wise, what helps you live longer, what can kill you faster, things such as that. And I truly am a believer of what you are what you eat. And it does have a big role in how you develop, how you move, how you function as a person, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, even, because food is I feel, in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, it could be a love language. And food is something that we are all introduced to at the beginning of life. Maybe not in the solid format, but mother's milk. We Some of us might have been breastfed, maybe bottle fed, but even then, that was a source of nutrients, that was a source of food. So just going to kind of talk about nutrition, and a little bit more or less the kind of the big debate on diets, which ones are kind of dominant at this time, in my opinion, and which ones are kind of prevalent, to be looking into in general. Maybe not something that you do now, but it could be a food that you start incorporating into your diet in the future. Do not look at this as something that, I'm sitting here as a I'm not a certified nutritionist, anything like that. I'm just giving my, words, just a couple, facts, statistics on different diets and what they can provide, the pros and cons within them, the big battle that's going on, especially with food, because it is the very important source of life that we use every day. So just going to kind of start with a very popular one off the top. Shout out to the vegans. just realistically, veganism is, I feel, is definitely not as widely accepted as it would be said to believe. But it is probably practiced more normally than, amongst probably your group of people than you would actually realize. I've come across, a lot of people in my life that, they're not even vegetarian. I came to a point I had to find out that, vegetarian and vegan were, two different things. All due respect to both diets. So veganism starting out, like I said, shout out to the vegans, man, because that diet that they're definitely going through, that they're putting themselves through, takes some discipline, and it takes some serious dedication, because when it comes to veganism, which is technically the practice of abstaining from the use of animal products, um it's kind of one of those things when you overall look at it. So much of what we eat, as a human species, as a human race, however you want to, call us, Homo sapien, whatever, term you'd like to use. um it shows that with veganism, it takes some, like I said, dedication and discipline, because you're abstaining from all animal products, or as, as many that are allowed, particularly in the vegan category. You're abstaining from animal products, which when we look at our actual diets, we consume a lot more from other animals, other mammals, things of that nature, than we do, human wise. So it's just kind of looked at as one of those things with vegans. I definitely have a strong respect for. I think the diet is definitely one of those things that, if you take if you take the time to learn it, it could be very beneficial to you and in your family in the future. But it also has its cons, because you might not be getting or it's a big debate about it, but you might not be getting certain nutrients that you would from certain animal products, as said. So at the end of the day, vegans are definitely a respectable culture, respectable people, and I have nothing but love for them, because at the end of the day, it takes a certain type of person to know that you're going to go out and be around, animal product people, that, friends, maybe, peers that are not, of the same diet, that you have to sit there and, watch such person consume, that might take a bit of a toll after a while. But, maybe not, in much respect to those guys that, just because you're vegan, you're not, pushing it on to everyone else. That's anyone and anything, just because it may be what you do doesn't mean that, it's something that the other person may be expected to do or know about. So they may need to be educated on it, is all. So the next kind of diet, of course, when you're talking vegans, if we're gonna go the wide spectrum, we're going, the absolute, abstaining from, animal products, meat, all that. We're gonna kind of hop over to the, opposite end right here, and look at the facultative carnivore, um, which is the, I guess, proper term, the dictionary term for omnivore, us humans in a way that do consume veggies and meat, or just have a very strong diet of meat. I'm sure a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of guys in the gym, things like that, they eat a higher amount of calories, and typically what I do see is that meat products hold a certain percentage of fat and things like that that can kind of sit a little bit more on the muscle when it comes to being a meat eater. So uh, when I said facultative carnivore, it is to prioritize the consumption of animal foods, but can survive but not thrive. Meaning, yes, as humans, we can survive, without meat, but because humans have adapted to eating meat, our brain requires fatty acids found in animals. AA, OTA, BHA, EPA, certain minerals, vitamins, excuse me, which compose 90% of our brains, to not, excuse me, that's not available in plants, So basically the the meat that we eat provides a source of energy, vitamins, minerals that we don't necessarily receive from plants. And it's not that plants aren't, you know, healthy, strong, make you mighty, all of that, and then some. Because I am a very strong believer in a very good diet of greens. Having some veggies in your diet, very heavily if you can, not overbearing, but as in regards to meat, it's still saying that certain meats do hold and possess certain beneficial qualities that even plants would not. And it's also just due to the fact that with human nature and evolution that we've gone through, it's gotten to the part that our bodies have become acclimated to receiving those types of minerals and nutrients off of, like I said, other animals. It's not something that is looked at as bad when we eat beef or chicken or pork. It's something that we've become used to. We've domesticated those animals, especially, so even then a lot easier to farm and breed and have huge herds of these animals. But um just in the sense that they become a part of our everyday diets, they're something that we have made so dominant in evolution that we stopped hunting for our, well, not necessarily stopped hunting, but over a period of time it became less needed to have materials, things like that, to go out and source for your food, as opposed to now. Evolution has gotten us to a point of, we just go to the local market and pick up our fresh fruit. We didn't actually grow it on the farm. Even the packaged meats that we may get from the store, it comes to a point in which you see, like, you're not the one back, in the butcher house, is the slaughterhouse, kind of is what they're kind of referred to. But um you're not back there actually, processing this meat, but you're getting the final product. And that is the human evolution. That is the point in which we've gotten to, in which our diets are now very easily delivered to us. We don't have to necessarily go out and provide, these sources of nutrients and energy for ourselves. We can, like I say, hop in our cars real quick and go ahead and run to the store, get whatever we need, whip up a quick meal, and call it that. Feel good about ourselves. So I just want to go into you know the fact that with um veganism and being a carnivore, the complete spectrum, because carnivores are, when we use the term carnivore, I guess you could say, when I use the term carnivore, that does represent a person that has a very intense uh in strong appetite for meat. It's not very often that you will see a carnivore um necessarily uh how do I put it? You won't see a carnivore eating too many veggies. And of course I feel like that's something that often happens with the process of having maybe kids, they don't want to eat their veggies. We don't want to eat our veggies when we're young, but that doesn't make us carnivores. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily that we're carnivores. It's just we don't process that, vegetables are just as, beneficial and just as yummy as, some meats are. So, and that's what I've come to learn with a lot of veganism as well, is that they have quite a lot of alternatives when it comes to veganism. You're not just looking at the spectrum of vegan, I'm just eating plants. Like I've seen some pretty delicious creations, if I may say so myself. I've seen some pretty nice dishes done as vegan restaurants are starting to become more prominent in this day and age, especially out in places like LA. Let's see. I think New York, definitely Atlanta. I think we even got some back home in Chicago for sure. Just becoming a little bit more dominant as a culture when it comes to eating vegetables, and not necessarily having them just be boring and bland, but really whip up dishes that people can find filling and hearty, and really put some impact on your stomach, truly. Just the like I said, with carnivores, if you look over at that spectrum, you'd kind of look at those people like, like I said, I'd look at my bodybuilders for sure, man, because a lot of those guys, the type of meals that I see, bodybuilders eat at times is like, wow, okay, that's a lot, of meat, man. That's not everyone can sit down in one sitting and eat that amount of meat. And it's nothing wrong with having a carnivorous diet, but it can prove to be um having its bad, it's cons as well. It's not all good when you eat only meat, because for the most part meat, uh especially if you're not cooking it correctly, a lot of people do tend to get foodborne illnesses due to the fact that they're not familiar with the meat that they may be cooking. They may need to practice a few times. Not everyone may know that poultry is supposed to be 165. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that if you weren't taught it, you may not actively know these things. So you may enjoy meat, but if you're not actively cooking these dishes for yourself very often, then you're not going to be able to actively make the switch over in diets very easily. And that's kind of what I've been seeing in this day and age. You've been seeing a lot of like rapid changes with people with their diets. And it's caused maybe some illnesses, some sicknesses, because, or even allergies, because you've gone from, consuming X, Y through Z to now, putting A, B, and C in your body. And it's not gonna correlate correctly at all, because you have to take a process when it comes to switching diets. I truly believe it's not necessarily something that you gotta baby step, but it may be something that you gotta do your due diligence, because if you're really taking the time to study over the subject or the diet, then you won't have the urge to, all right, I'm stopping eating meat all today, and then in the next week you're sitting there in the emergency room because you weren't waning yourself off of these said urges. Instead, you just kind of went cold turkey, and that's not something that your body can necessarily process. And there's nothing wrong with, like I said, switching your diet at all. I am a firm believer that everyone can, find a road to redemption through food, especially. It's not always about exercise. I know we talk about fitness at points for our body types, but it's not always about exercise. It's not always about a good workout. Sometimes it really can come down to the food that you are putting into your body. And as I kind of look at it, the capsule, the body, the mind, the body, the soul, it's a real thing. And you know you have to feed your body the correct things that you enjoy, that make your body function in the ways that you'd like it to function, that you'd prefer it to function. If you prefer to function a certain way, then you need to do your research on what foods help me be better at doing um excuse me, what foods make my eyesight better, what foods can help my lung capacity, what foods can make my brain activity work better. Certain things, if you take the time to really delve into, it will give back. And I am, like I said, a firm believer that food is one of those subjects that can be ever expansive. I used to very much so be into the culinary world. I am a foodie, as I've maybe said in the prior past lives, but I love food. And it's not just the necessary food itself, it's the process behind dishes being made. Because when it comes to food, you learn different cultures through food. Excuse me, you learn through different cultures through food. You learn different seasonings, different spices, different flavors. That and I am a man that is very, I have a wide palate, a wide, like, my palate is very, very extensive. So I've tried. I'll say I'm willing to try a lot of things at least once, and I've yet to not really be somewhat. I can't say everything I've enjoyed, but at the end of the day, not. I can't say I've not enjoyed the experience that I went through, going ahead and taking the time to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm not going to be in my head about this food. I'm not going to be picky. I'm going to go ahead and try it and see what it can do to me. Because certain foods can be a mental thing. Even certain foods can, like, I know a lot of us, man, growing up, we enjoyed our mother's cooking, our grandmother's cooking, things like that. So certain dishes, we even enjoy certain people in our lives. We need a certain dish cooked a certain way in order for it to, like, it's that for us. So when you take the time to really be cumulative on your diet and really pile up the facts on what you are trying to strive for in life, um definitely look into the food that you're consuming, because it plays a big part. And not only that, just to kind of point out food, I think it's a very social aspect of our lives. Like, when it comes to food, we meet up over food. We we're socializing over food. We're having great moments over food. We're in the kitchen together. you know we're remembering so many great things. You're not having most events without food. A good drink to go with it, maybe, things like that. It's certain dishes. Like I said, you went to um France, which is one of the places that is the mecca of culinary expertise, if you kind of look at it in that format. um French cuisine is definitely top tier, and it definitely takes a certain level of study and practice to be a culinary chef. When it comes to food, I have a big genuine respect for our chefs, our people in the kitchens, our restaurant workers, anything in the food industry, show a good love and respect to, because they process something every day that everyone needs. And at the end of the day, those people require, supplement within themselves. They're not sitting there on the job, you know, all day without, sustenance. They're not eating themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're also having a break time, a lunch time, to go and have a meal, to, have a time to, process and put some substance on your body. And I think that's one of the most important aspects of life, is just knowing the diet in which is important for you, knowing the diet that will benefit you the most, knowing the diet that at the end of the day will not bring you detriment, but will bring you a benefit. So just me, more personally, I do have I guess you could say, a heavier sense of, I won't say I completely don't, eat meat, but I do tend to try to go more or less the vegetable way if I can. I'll have meat, but I guess like lamb, I enjoy lamb. Um, Chicken is very subtle. Um, Me being Islamic, of course, I don't eat pork. Um, and then beef, I do enjoy a great steak. I think that's a few of us out here. I definitely enjoy a great steak, but in moderation. It's not something that you do too heavily. But with vegetables, I definitely take my time to um, get a lot of those grains in me if I can help it, because they are beneficial to my health. And not even that, I love fruit as well. So just even speaking on veganism, of course we can speak vegetables, but fruits are also in that. You know, fruits are a man. You want a lot of, I guess you could say, processed things that we have here in the States, United States of America. A lot of processed foods that we have. Fruits can really supplement a lot of the cravings and urges, I feel, that we may have for certain, like candy, certain sweets. Same way as to certain, vegetables can, substitute for certain, I guess you could say, savory meals and things like that that we'd be craving. So when you really look at it, like, we got hamburgers, but we also got, veggie burgers. So it's not too far off that you can't, have the same thing, and not necessarily step on anyone's toes. I think both diets are very respective, and of course, I like to be in the middle. I like to meet in the middle. I don't like to say I'm too heavy on the veganism, and I don't like to say I eat meat too heavily, because I don't. Everything is in moderation, and truly, like I said, I think I eat a bit more vegetables in reality. If I do have a preference, I do like to have plant-based meals a little bit more often, um because they do, uh I guess, give me a more subtle, more a better feeling of energy, as I'm sure certain fruits and vegetables can do. Is to where meat can kind of sometimes make me feel a little bit more groggy. Like, yeah, I feel, I guess, in a sense of muscle, and kind of getting a little bit bulkier. I guess meat does make me feel a little bit better after I eat it, but it also kind of makes me groggy. It kind of, wears me down and makes me a little bit tired. So I don't tend to eat meat too often if I can help it. So just really show a great appreciation towards food, and ultimately, you can't do anything without it. So definitely take your time to do your due diligence and study up on the diet that you prefer, the diet that you would enjoy, and the lifestyle that you would enjoy having, maybe even the lifespan you'd enjoy living, because certain foods can provide that for you if you do the research. Once again, just wanted to kind of say thank you to any and everyone that has tuned in to my channel thus far. Lazarus Xander right here. Once again, 063 Tactical Tuesday live. Oh man, I'm feeling great today, and I hope you are too, truly, because it is a beautiful day every day that we get to wake up. So even me now, man, I'm able to sit here and express some energy, express some love to those that are expressing love to me. And that's more than I could ask for at the end of the day. MashaAllah, you know, take the time to pat yourself on the back for coming as far as you've, come, and prepare yourself for going as far as you want to get. 063 Tactical is definitely one of the things that makes me very proud to be the person that I am. And I enjoy every aspect of the tactical mindset, the tactical part of life. And not that it's needed in every part of life, because you don't need to be, on guard, 24/7. It doesn't have to be that way, but it does provide me with a subtle serenity and peace that I'm able to know in certain situations. I'm able to kind of pinpoint and really have a certain reaction. A fight or flight, I'm usually the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I know in a flight as well, but certain situations call for you know certain actions, and you have to be prepared in either situation. So just wanted to say, like I said, here at the channel, we appreciate any and everyone, and we stay prepared for any and every reaction that we get, and we love interacting with any and everyone that we can. We love learning. So thank you for your opinions, and thank you for being who you are. Just wanted to, like I say, switch over a little bit with topics, because food is one of those that we could talk about, you know, forever. Truly, food is a wide category once again, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. So, 063 Tactical Tuesday live once again. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell for me. If you are tuning in, go ahead, leave a comment for me. If you want to give any feedback, interact with me at any point, and I will do my best to get back with you. Just going to kind of switch over here, like I said, and talk a little bit about some realty, because as much as the next man loves being in his castle, I think realty is a very big part of our lives as well, and we don't necessarily process it the way that we should. I take realty very serious, and I enjoy not reality. So let me go ahead and get that distinction clear. Let me go ahead and make sure I say that, not reality, but realty, real estate. We're talking in that format. So I believe realty is definitely a big aspect of everyone's life to a degree, because at some point I feel, not everyone, and I won't speak in a sense of privilege, so excuse me if I'm offending anyone, and I don't mean to, but I feel as if most people here in the United States have had at some point a roof over their head, a property that they've lived in, somewhere that they grew up, an area that they were born in, something of that aspect. And it plays a big role in development of who you as a person can be in the future. I feel as if areas with different issues, different needs, different wants, they play a big role on the realty space and what it can do to those that don't necessarily have the privilege of having some realty around. So just wanted to speak on it, like I said, and just say thank you to any and everyone in the real estate game, because what you do is magnificent, it's tremendous, and it's appreciated. Um,
most people, I think most people, their biggest asset, maybe purchase of their lifetime, will be a home, will be their home. They will deal with the mortgage of a home, and it's one of those things that I feel is a goal to work towards, not necessarily a mortgage, but having a home that you can call yours if you are a person that enjoys real estate. And it's not necessarily like, it's not saying that you have to be a real estate agent, you have to be a person that just sits back and you're watching HGTV all day. No, it's just in general. I think a home, a property, however you like to conclude, is a very big aspect of a person's life when you're looking into settlement of anything, whether it be trying to move in, start a family, maybe start a business. So maybe you're not even looking at residential realty. Maybe you're looking at commercial warehouse, estate. And it's one of those things for me that everyone has to find their place to fit in. Every business has to have a building that it is in, it is built into, or it is supported by at a point. You need a great foundation for anything. I'm sure most people have that kind of mentality. You need to set a good foundation on a home, for anything to kind of process and work correctly. But just looking at it in that way with realty, like I said, I wanted to kind of speak on my favorite style of a home, which would be a Mediterranean. I love a good Mediterranean style home, um, because when you actually look at Mediterranean style homes, um, they're very unique in the format that they provide a different distinction from other homes. Like, you can really spot out a Mediterranean, in my opinion, as opposed to a maybe a more modern or a older build home. Because something as simple as the shingled roof. I'm sure everyone knows those shingled roofs. They're beautiful, but they come from Moorish, Italian, and Spanish architecture, which this style of home, it dominates, you know in warm weather. It's the best. Like, so if you're in a hot state, such as these southern states, which Texas is one that we definitely know to be a hot state, something such as the Mediterranean can take you a long way. Even states such as Arizona, man, I'm sure they have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Mediterranean homes in Arizona, because the heat in Arizona is so, yeah, Arizona, I'm sure, is definitely bad with heat, but it dominates in warm weather at locations like, I guess even Florida is definitely one. Florida definitely too. Popular architecture, or excuse me, popular architects like Madison Mitzer, who advanced this home style in Florida, along with Bertram Goodhue, Sumner Spalding, plus many more. Excuse me for it being so dissected with that. Bertram Goodhue, Sumner Spalding, plus many more. It explains uh that the style, it stands out, because you have a wide variety, a wide range of architects that really put their mind in work, their hand onto this style of home, and it provides a lot of great benefits in those states that you see a lot of people really do enjoy. For the most part, they're not in states that typically have a bit more low key kind of lifestyle and low key way of living. They are a little bit more or less um, in the southern hemisphere. I wouldn't see them like up in the North Dakotas. Of course, if it's a custom build, then by all means. But we wouldn't see them in like Maine and the north. northeastern part of the country because it's not as often that they're needed, the production of it. So why of all the styles, this will be my favorite, truly. It really is because the beauty behind Mediterranean style homes. Um, I like the different colors, the different offsets that you can use with Mediterranean homes. And then, like I said, the overall product and producer of like providing that protection of heat, it provides a lot of great wonders at the end of the day, especially when you're planning on going to states that kind of are going to be hotter, especially year round. And that's here in the United States of America. So the top 5 best states to live in, um, I guess that'd be Washington. Like Washington State is definitely a great one that I'm seeing for sure off bat. Washington, I've actually been to, and I can say that Washington is a beautiful state. It definitely how do I describe Washington? Washington is those people in Washington are very very laid back. Very much so a different atmosphere, especially coming from the Midwest. I'm from Chicago, so it's definitely a different feeling kind of going up into mountain-esque territory. It's like I always say when I went out to Washington, it's like the air is just very clean. It's a lot more forestation that you're seeing out in Washington when you're rolling through the mountains. You're seeing a lot more trees and a lot more wildlife even. So the air is like very, I'm not sure if you could say it's cleaner, but like the level to the sea is a lot I believe closer than even we would be back home. So next one is New Hampshire, which New Hampshire I wouldn't be surprised because I feel like New Hampshire is definitely, how do I describe New Hampshire? New Hampshire is definitely a more low key state, and it's kind of, I feel like that's kind of where like you'd see a lot more of our northeastern kind of political heads, are more famous, celebrities, things like that. They kind of establish estates out in states such as New Hampshire because it is kind of a little bit more or less on the off the radar. Realistically, you and I don't think I would have expected New Hampshire to be in the 5 best states at all to live in, but Minnesota comes in at 3. With Minnesota, I definitely do think Minnesota is a beautiful, beautiful state. It provides, how do I say it? It provides a lot of ranges of life, but from my understanding, Minnesota, it snows even more than shoot back home, man, and that's saying something. So, yeah, Minnesota is one of those things you got to definitely be a little bit more or less mentally prepared to kind of go through. I think with Minnesota, it's a little bit more community based. You have to know your neighbor for sure, because there's a lot more land in between things. So, um, and a lot more forestation with it being up in those northern states, a little bit closer to, or excuse me, a lot closer to Canada, more or less. But definitely got some respect for Minnesota. Um, can't say that I've been to New Hampshire or Minnesota, or I think I've driven through Minnesota. I can't say that I've technically visited, but I can say that I've driven through Minnesota. New Hampshire, I believe no. I don't believe I've been to New Hampshire. Let's see here. Utah. Utah is number 4 for the best state to live in. Let's see here. And Utah is actually one that I am looking forward to going to. I think I have driven through Utah once or twice myself, and Utah is very beautiful when it comes to, I guess you could say, like I enjoy the mountain drives. I know they can be a bit long, but if you kind of take the time to observe nature and it kind of will show you a landscape that you may not be used to. especially when you don't have to drive. Just the benefit of kind of being on the road trip, not having to drive. But you're able to kind of really take in the land itself and what really makes that state unique, what makes it beautiful. And what I